Hey guys, BaoZakeruga here, and with the 6th generation of Pokemon coming out, I decided to do a video looking back on the very first generation that started it all. I'm looking back and reviewing every single major game from the first generation of Pokemon, and this is probably my biggest video ever. Had a lot of fun making it, and I hope you enjoy it. There are a few other game franchises as commercially popular as Pokemon. Back in the 90s, whether it was the anime, the video games, the trading cards, or the Pokemon merchandise, Pokemon was everywhere, whether you liked it or not. The concept of Pokemon originates from Satoshi Tajiri. As a boy, he had a passion for the outdoors, especially collecting insects. He would explore ponds and forests around his home, always looking for new insects to find and capture. As he got older, the areas he used to collect bugs in were transformed into malls, streets, and apartment buildings. It was also around this time he was getting into video games. Years later, after founding the company Game Freak, he came up with the concept for Pokemon, wanting kids to have the experience he had as a kid collecting bugs. He presented his idea to Nintendo, and although they weren't too keen on the idea, they gave him funding to work on the game even though they didn't think it would be successful. And now in 2013 we had the juggernaut franchise known as Pokemon. To tell you the truth, I don't remember the first time I was introduced to Pokemon. I can only assume it was from the anime, but unfortunately I can't recall. But one day I'll never forget is the day I got my very first Pokemon game. Unlike most players that started with Red and Blue, I started with Pokemon Yellow, and it even came with the awesome Pokemon Game Boy Color system. Awesome. But I'll get back to Pokemon Yellow version a bit later. First, let's talk about Red and Blue. Pokemon Red and Blue were the very first Pokemon games released in the Western world. But as most hardcore fans know, the first two Pokemon games in the world were Red and Green over in Japan. Japan later got their own Blue version, which had improvements over their Red and Green, including better sprites, better sound, and the fixing of several glitches. Gamers in the rest of the world automatically received all the updates Japan's Blue version had in the localized forms of Red and Blue that we all know and love. So let's go a little in depth into these games. First, I guess I should tackle the question, what is a Pokemon? Well, in the Pokemon universe, alongside humans there exist creatures that take the form of animals from our real world, mythical creatures, and sometimes even inanimate objects. They can be captured and tamed by humans as companions, or even used as tools of evil. In the first generation there were 151 of them for you to capture, and it came in 15 types. Quite the task for a 10-year-old. Now let's move on to the games themselves. You're in your hometown of Pallet Town, where you receive your very first Pokemon from Professor Oak after he stops you from leaving town and being savagely torn apart by wild Pokemon. Your choices are the grass Pokemon Bulbasaur, the fire Pokemon Charmander, and the water Pokemon Squirtle. Whatever you choose, your rival will pick whatever other starter has a type advantage over yours. Jerk. After getting your starter, you're tasked with filling out a Pokédex for Professor Oak, a digital encyclopedia of every Pokemon that you have to fill up. Encyclopedia that which I may note is completely blank, by the way. This guy is supposed to be the world's leading professor on Pokemon, and he gets some 10-year-old to do his bidding. Not sure if he's just lazy or really crafty. Anyways, alongside filling out the Pokédex, you're given the task of defeating 8 bosses, or as they're referred to in the Pokemon universe, gym leaders. Each one will put you to the test with specializing in a specific type of Pokemon. Along the way, you'll occasionally butt heads with Team Rocket, a sinister organization that uses Pokemon to do crimes, and your rival, who has no qualms about telling you how vastly superior he is to you, no matter how many times you trounce him. But it doesn't end there. After defeating every gym leader, Team Rocket, and your rival, and making it through a long dungeon known as Victory Road, you have one more task ahead of you, the Elite Four. The 4 best trainers in the land will put you to the test with their high-level Pokemon, and you face them all in succession without the opportunity to heal at a Pokemon Center. Thankfully, you can still use heal items in your inventory, but I didn't really capitalize on this as a kid, and had quite the epic struggle with these 4 trainers. But just when you think you've won, when you're finally taking down Lance's fierce force of dragons, he breaks the news to you. You aren't done yet. There's one more challenge awaiting you. Your rival. That snarky little punk got the jump on you and became champion first. Now it's up to you to dethrone him. And what a battle it is. He throws everything at you but the kitchen sink. But when you emerge victorious, it's the sweetest feeling in the world. Finally being able to wipe that stupid grin off his face. You step forward and you and your team are forever entered into the Hall of Fame. The end. Just kidding, you still have Pokemon to catch and an all-new dungeon to explore, the most powerful Pokemon waiting for you at the end. The games were great by themselves, but what was probably the main appeal of Pokemon was the fact that you could trade and battle with your friends. This was all done by the link cable, an awesome cable that linked yours and your friends' games together. Newer gamers won't see this as a big deal, but back in the 90s this was freaking awesome. Raising a team of your own creatures and going head to head with your friends at school, or trading your friend your Kadabra so it could evolve into Alakazam. This was pretty much revolutionary at the time and helped Pokemon to eventually become the best-selling RPG series in history. Now, Red and Blue versions weren't the only main games at the time, however. As I mentioned earlier, eventually came the Yellow version. Loosely based off the anime, this version gave you everyone's favorite electric rodent, Pikachu, as your starter. And it even has anime voice. But don't worry, Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle didn't get the shaft. They're all attainable throughout the game, each given to you by a different character. So you can have the Elemental Trio all on your team in one game without trading your friends if you wanted. Also, because you started with Pikachu, your rival would no longer pick one of the Elemental Trio. Instead, he started with an Eevee. The Yellow version also included sprite updates for Pokemon, some trainers, and things in the world such as signposts. Also, the bonus dungeon had its layout changed. While these games were all downright amazing and fun, they did have their fair share of flaws and problems. The first of which is the box system. In the first generation games, 20 Pokemon could be stored in a box in the PC, and when this limit was reached, you had to switch over to a different box to continue storing Pokemon. See, the problem is that the game wouldn't give you a notification of any kind when the limit was reached, and if you tried catching a Pokemon with a full party while your current box was full, you would have to give up on catching that Pokemon until you could get to a PC and switch the box. I'll never forget the time I finally tracked down a Magmar, only to find out my current box was full. Needless to say, I was not a happy trainer that day. Another problem with the first generation that a lot of kids probably didn't notice or even care about at the time was how broken the Psychic type was. So in the first generation, the Psychic type was only weak to bug types. The problem with this is that almost every bug type in the first generation sucked, and the only 4 bug type moves were a complete joke. Just like Pokemon like Alakazam and Mewtwo rampage over everything. These advantages even led to the introduction of 2 new types in the second generation to balance the Psychic type out. But that's another video for the future. The only other really apparent flaws these games had were the limit of items you could carry with you, and the insane amount of glitches each game had. Although honestly, I had a lot of fun with the glitches, so I didn't really care. Generation 1 didn't stop there though. Now let's take a look back at the other major games that helped cement Pokemon's place in gaming history. The first of which is a very original game even to this day, Pokemon Snap. Our main character is Todd, an aspiring Pokemon photographer summoned by Professor Oak to take pictures of Pokemon for his research. Yep, another kid suckered in by Oak to do his bidding. Now the premise of Pokemon Snap is pretty simple. You take pictures of Pokemon. Now if you've never played this game, you might be thinking to yourself right now, taking pictures of Pokemon, that sounds boring. And honestly, I gotta say, if you think the game is boring, you're
wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong.
Seriously though, this game is fun as hell. It's not simply taking pictures. You're on a set path and have limited time to take pictures of moving Pokemon in their natural environments. Sometimes you'll even have to throw things like apples and pester balls to change the behavior of them, so you can catch it doing something unique. You can even force a Pokemon to evolve or hatch from an egg to get pictures of it that way. See, that's the beauty of this game. It's so simple and at the same time so enthralling and unique. At the end of each stage, your pictures are graded by Professor Oak, and with enough progression you'll unlock more areas to explore, more items to help you with on your adventure, and even an upgrade for your vehicle to 0-1. You could even save your favorite pictures and print them out at a local Blockbuster back in the day. And with the game later being ported to the Wii's Virtual Console, you could post pictures on the Wii message board and share them with your friends. The only real flaw to Pokemon Snap is that there's only 62 of the original 151 Pokemon in the game. Regardless, I love this game. If you're a Pokemon fan and you haven't played this, shame on you. Also, I will cry if this game doesn't get a Wii U sequel. I mean, come on, the Wii U is perfect for this type of game. Next game on the list is Hey You People. I'm just kidding. Next game on the list is the awesome Pokemon Stadium. If you're a Pokemon fan with a Nintendo 64 back in the day, you owned this game. Pokemon Stadium was a dream come true for many Pokemon fans. Seeing your Pokemon sprites on the Game Boy was cool and all, but Pokemon Stadium brought them to life in 3D and let you battle with them as if you were in the anime yourself. But Stadium was much more than just simple battling. Using the N64 transfer pack bundle with each copy of the game, you can not only play with your Game Boy Pokemon in 3D, but you could literally play red, blue, and yellow versions themselves on your TV. In addition to that, the game let you face off against the 8 gym leaders and Elite Four, all of whom are packing new and more powerful Pokemon. Beating Gym Leader Castle even gives you a free rare Pokemon to transfer over to your main games. Awesome, right? The modes don't stop there though. You can have free battles for the fun of it, and also challenge various cups, each with varying difficulties. And I'll admit that even to this day I haven't been able to beat every single cup. But what probably held the biggest replay value in the game were the 9 mini-games. I think I spent more time playing the mini-games than I did battling actually. There's even a championship mode where you and your friends can earn bragging rights against each other. Also, for the record, I dare anyone to challenge me in Drowsy Snore War. I'm a freaking master of that game. But anyways, this game was, and still is to this day, amazing. The only problem with this game is the rental Pokemon the game lets you use free of charge. Seriously, who the hell trained these things? Oh yeah, did I mention you can get a Surfing Pikachu in this game? Awesome. Next on the list is a game I go back to very often. Pokemon the trading card game for the Game Boy Color. As a kid, and heck even now, I was a huge fan of the Pokemon trading card game. So when I found out there was a video game version of the real card game, you can imagine my reaction.
Yes! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Yeah. So the game was an exact replica of the real life card game. Every rule stayed intact and made it into the game. It even had real life booster packs inside the game. I would go into the details of the rules of the trading card game, but this video would be at least another 10 to 15 minutes. If you are curious about the rules, head over to Jay Witz's channel. He has an in-depth beginner's guide. But back to the main topic at hand. The game is kind of structured like the main Pokemon games actually. There's gyms with gym leaders you have to face, and each time you beat one you get a badge. Or as they're referred to in this game, a medal. There's even an Elite Four. An Elite Four that I could never beat as a kid because I wasn't exactly a master strategist. But despite that, I can always have an insurmountable amount of fun with this game. In addition to good gameplay, the game also has a great and memorable soundtrack. Oh, remember that handy link cable I mentioned earlier? Well yeah, you can use it to battle your friends with this game. This game actually has a sequel, but sadly it was never released outside of Japan. Although thankfully there is a fan translation now. I really wish they kept making these games like the Yu-Gi-Oh games that see almost annual releases. Sure, we have an official simulator now, but you kinda need real life money to really get anywhere with it, with the insane amount of cards there is. Plus, it doesn't have that charm that the Game Boy Color game had. The very last game on the list is a game I've never gotten a chance to play until working on this video. It's Pokemon Puzzle League. As the title suggests, Pokemon Puzzle League is a Tetris attack style puzzle game with a Pokemon motif thrown on it. Given that, the game is pretty straightforward. Match up 3 or more blocks of the same color and they're cleared off the screen. Do multicolor combos and you'll send garbage to your opponent, hampering their progression. The first thing that stood out to me in this game is that there's actually voice acting. All the voices from the official anime, in fact. This may not seem like a big deal to some, but for some reason it put a smile on my face. The game just isn't one mindless mode where you're facing off against a computer opponent, however. There's a story mode, a 2-player mode, a practice arena to hone or practice your skills, a time attack mode, an endless marathon mode, and even a little side mode where Team Rocket still Ash's Pokemon and he has to get them back. You know, by beating them in a puzzle game. Logic. Despite this game not being too popular, it's actually unique in a couple ways. The first of which is the fact that the game let you use the Pokemon Meryl, which is a Generation 2 Pokemon. This is the first time a game has ever done this. The second unique thing about this game is that it was never released in Japan. Yep, for once the Western world got something Japan didn't. Mind-blowing, I know. The first generation of Pokemon was amazing. Even without the nostalgia, these are all games that have stood the test of time, and that's an achievement of itself. Someone asked me once when I'll grow up and stop playing Pokemon. And I told them with a smile, the day I stop playing Pokemon is most likely the day I will die. I love this series. A lot of my favorite memories involve Pokemon. And I wouldn't have met a few of my best friends if it wasn't for Pokemon. It's great to see how far this series has come. I just wanted to do something special. A homage of sorts for the games and generation that started it all. And with that done, I say bring on X and Y. Well, if you made it all the way to the end, congratulations. Had a lot of fun making this video. It was fun going back and looking upon those games I had so much fun with in my childhood, and even games like Puzzle League that I never got the chance to play until now. I'm probably going to do a video like this for each and every generation, including X and Y. Although for that one, I'm probably going to wait more until more games come out in the 6th generation. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share it with anyone you know who's a Pokemon fan. It would mean a lot to me. Follow me on Twitter at BaoZakeruga. Feel free to subscribe. And thank you for watching.